Joining us now is Billy Wall-Winkle. He is the Assistant Curator with the Detroit Historical Society and Dossin Museum, and he joins us now on the MegaCast. Billy, thanks for being with us today.
Happy to be here.
Glad to have you with
me.
us. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on lately over at the Detroit Historical Society.
We are busy at the Detroit Historical Society. For those of you who don't know, we manage the Detroit Historical Museum and the Dawson Great Lakes Museum over on Belle Isle. And we are making sure that we have plenty of things for people to do this winter, people who finally have the ability to get out of their homes and kind of want to stretch their legs and want to do it somewhere warm. So we got plenty of programs going on at the Detroit Historical Museum and over on the island at the Dawson.
So what are some of those programs that are ongoing or have been ongoing that have really been attracting people back? Some of the more interesting things that people can see down there that have garnered a lot of interest so far, and for those that haven't traveled down to the Detroit Historical Museum or the Dawson Museum lately, might be of great interest to them.
Well, the thing, of course, museums are known for are exhibits, and we have plenty of new exhibits coming in and that have recently just been put in as well. We have our 1920s exhibit that just got put in. We have a brand new community gallery exhibition about the National Organization of Minority Architects, which is celebrating its 50th anniversary here in its hometown in Detroit. We are making sure that our spaces are open for as many people to experience Detroit history in as many ways as we can. So we have a Hudson's Holiday exhibition coming up. We have a ship models exhibition coming up to tell the history of Great Lakes shipping and Great Lakes vessels over at the Dawson. And we have other community partnerships such as like the Mint Artists Guild and other folks coming in as well.
We're joined by Billy Wall-Winkle, Assistant Curator with the Detroit Historical Society and Dawson Museum, joining us on the MegaCast. And you also have some very interesting events coming up very soon on November 10th. From 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, you'll be holding your 22nd Annual Lost Mariners Remembrance event. Tell us a little bit about that event, what people will learn from going there, and what goes into that event and who we are celebrating.
Yeah, so Lost Mariners commemorates and remembers the countless men and women who have passed away, who have given their lives on serving us on the Great Lakes. The Great Lakes shipping has a very, very long history. We are, in many ways, reliant upon the men and women who sail on the Great Lakes to deliver us goods, take us places, help us out. And this shows our appreciation for them. The Lost Mariners Remembrance began on the 25th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald, which sank in 1975 following near Hurricane force winds in Lake Superior. And what this does, it takes a moment to sit back, to commemorate those people. And it's really a unique experience because there are other commemorations out there, but there's not one like ours. So we are an international event. We have sailors from both Canada and the United States. We have a flotilla of ships from the United States and Canada who participate in our honor guard and our wreath-laying ceremony. And we really try to demonstrate the international nature of the Great Lakes, because so many famous American shipwrecks are in Canadian waters and vice versa, because just how intimately tied we are.
Yeah, Detroit and the entire state of Michigan, because of the Great Lakes, because of their connection ultimately down the line to the Atlantic Ocean, so many different shipping routes from all across the world, and especially through history. This has really been the state of Michigan an important point along the way for a lot of these shipments to get from point A to point Z from all over the world and all over the country as well. And with that being what it is, of course, that's why we have so many shipwrecks that have occurred there, and many of them having been unfortunately deadly. And so celebrating those mariners Mariners that who did give their lives to continue to push our economy forward, and especially from motoring that from out of the state of Michigan or through the state of Michigan, an important thing to do. And so you also will have, as you mentioned, that this event began on the 25th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald. You will have a special event station for the Edmund Fitzgerald, not on the day of the Remembrance event, but 3 days later, November 13th, 11 o'clock until 3:30. Tell us about that special event station and what people can learn about the Edmund Fitzgerald or see from the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald that they may not have been able to interact with or learn about before in other places.
Yeah, if you can't make it all the way up to Whitefish Point to see the rest of the artifacts from the wreck, you can come to the Dossin Great Lakes Museum. We have the anchor from the Edmund Fitzgerald, which plays a large role in our Lost Mariners Remembrance ceremony. But also, we are having another event with the Livonia Amateur Radio Club. They will be doing a special ham radio session on November 13th. And their goal is to set up their equipment at the Dossin and to broadcast the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald to other amateur radio operators, because radio played such a major role in the events that led to the sinking of the Fitzgerald, and it was really a lifeline for him. So we want to share the story of the Edmund Fitzgerald through their last line of communication, the thing that was keeping them going for as long as they could. And that is on November 13th. It's a Saturday, so hopefully you can make it out. And it's from 11 a.m. to 3:30. You can come to the Dossin, you can check out the work that they're doing, and it's really interesting. And for Lost Mariners this year, we celebrate different sailors every single year. So we don't just do the same ships, or we don't just focus on the Edmund Fitzgerald, because there's so many people who have lost their lives, who have given their lives. And this year we're focusing on 1871, which is not typically what we do for the ceremony, because we usually pick a few ships here and there. But 1871 is known by maritime historians as the year of the 1,000 disasters. So there was over 1,100 disasters, and that's everything from running aground to shoaling to fires to collisions in that 1 year alone. There was over 134 sailors who lost their lives in that year, and that this year also marks kind of a change in who's sailing on the Great Lakes, because in that loss of life we have female sailors, we have black sailors, and we want to demonstrate that what we envision usually of safety on the Great Lakes today isn't always the case. So this year was particularly bad, and we want to remember those 134 who lost their lives.
Yeah, it's another year that with all those disasters of different various kinds, and being that it was so long ago and very early on in the shipping and maritime history of the state of Michigan, also really gives an important look into the development of those safety protocols that are followed today and have been throughout history in the state of Michigan, and also in some ways inform the general safety rules on the water that we operate now for people in recreational boating and those that are on the waters, and including our many boardwalks across the state of Michigan and lighthouse boardwalks as well. We're joined by Billy Wall-Winkle. He's the Assistant Curator with the Detroit Historical Society and Dossin Museum, to learn more about all of their upcoming events and ongoing exhibits, including their upcoming Lost Mariners Remembrance event on November 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. and their Edmund Fitzgerald special event station on Saturday, November 13th from 11 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. You can go to their website at detroithistorical.org. Again, that is detroithistorical.org. You can find them on social media in places like Twitter at DHS Detroit. And so, Billy, we're still in the middle of the pandemic. Things not as bad and as severe in some ways, and in other ways still as bad as a year ago. But more in-person events are happening. People are able to come back to the museums. But are you still holding some virtual events or some virtual programming for those that may not be comfortable going back into these situations just yet? And if so, what are some of those that are available or will be available soon?
Yeah, of course. I feel you. My wife's a high school teacher, so we gotta play it safe here and there, especially. So we are taking that into account when it comes to Lost Mariners. It will be available online. We're working through to make sure Wi-Fi on the Canadian border works just fine. Sometimes it gets a little bit dicey, but it'll be streamed just like it was last year. And also, we're making sure our third Thursdays are available online. This next one with Peter Werby and Harvey Oshinsky of the Fifth Estate will be online. Additionally, for those of you who are comfortable with coming in, we have some really great in-person events. Not only are we going to be in person again for the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which you can come celebrate at the Detroit Historical Museum, but we also have an awesome event called the Holiday Ale Trail, where we're going to bring different brewers in to the museum in order to celebrate Detroit and Michigan beer, because we were fortunate enough to have this amazing beer exhibit, which we've gotten to extend again due to great response, and also more people get to come out of their houses now. So we want to make sure as many people can see it as they can. But we're working on making sure we have virtual programming to go along with our exhibitions that people won't be able to see.
We're joined by Billy Wall-Winkle. He's the Assistant Curator at the Detroit Historical Society and Dossin Museum. Learn more information on their website at detroithistorical.org. And then a couple more minutes with you, Billy, before we'll say goodbye today. You do have another really interesting exhibition that's happening now through January 9th of 2022. It's a new community gallery exhibition presenting 50 years of history of the National Organization of Minority Architects, or NOMA, highlighting some of the black and other minority architects in the state of Michigan and in the Detroit area as well, and the impact that they've had on the development of Michigan's architectural identity. Tell us a little bit about this 50 Years of NOMA exhibition that's being held right now through the Historical Society.
Of course. NOMA, the National Organization of Minority Architects, was born here in Detroit in 1971. It was born at an American Institute of Architects conference, and they want to celebrate their 50th anniversary in their hometown. It was founded by a group of minority architects who some met for the very first time at that conference, and they wanted to create a group to represent their views, their expectations, and what they saw as necessary for their advancement in the field. Members of NOMA have done great work across the city of Detroit. They've done work in Techtown, they've done work in Jefferson Chalmers, and this really just highlights not only Detroit and Michigan architects, but also architects from across the country. And this is one of my favorite things about our museum is our community gallery. Our community gallery is not curated by the Detroit Historical Society staff. We bring people in to share their stories. Our mission at the museum is to tell Detroit stories and why they matter, but we're not arrogant enough to believe that we're the only ones who get to tell those stories. So we want people to come into our space, put their stories on our walls, and make it so as many people can see it and learn about it as possible.
Billy, anything else that would be interesting for us to keep an eye out for at the Historical Society coming up, or other information that we haven't spoken about today?
Yeah, it's speaking of birthdays, it's our birthday year.
Oh.
We're celebrating our 100th anniversary this year. We were founded in 1921, and we're really looking forward to the next 100 years. Our curator emeritus, Joel Stone, has put together an awesome book about the Detroit Historical Society and the history of our work over the past 100 years, and definitely keep a lookout for that book coming out.
Well, we will absolutely keep an eye out for that, and keep an eye out for more ways we can celebrate 100 years of the Detroit Historical Society. Billy, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.